Hi everyone, welcome to Ener-Ki Wellness Weekly. I'm your owner and host, Austin Deck, and welcome to another episode. This week we're talking about anxiety, something very near and dear to my heart. We've actually had an ongoing relationship for about 20 years now, so I think that I am in a place that I can comfortably speak to anxiety now. And I'm sure that everyone has their own relationship with anxiety because anxiety gets around, girl. She get around. Oh, her? She get around. So, let's talk about anxiety. I have been diagnosed with general anxiety disorder with OCD traits and manic depressive traits for some time. Before it was just OCD, I actually just recently got re-diagnosed, and I am not ashamed to tell people that I take medication daily. It is something that I have become accustomed to. It's something that I know has made a difference in my life, and contrary to everyone's beliefs and everything's like that, everyone's entitled their own opinion. I, for one, was somebody that didn't believe in taking those medications, and I really see the benefit of them now. Uh, I won't argue with anyone, so please don't comment or yell at me for taking meds or yell at anyone for taking meds. This isn't about that. What this is just me being vulnerable with you and saying that, yes, I do take medication to keep myself in check. If I didn't, I know that my brain is in a place that it would play tricks on me. And I just hiccuped, so that's what that was. Really depressing moment though. And so if I don't take my meds, I tend to have more of those traits. And it almost feels like the world is staring at me and it gets worse and worse. And so I try to make sure that I keep to my schedule, and it's part of my self-care routine is making sure that I take that pill every day. The other part of that is vouching for yourself when it comes to these medications. Um, as a student nurse and someone that works in or is going into the healthcare profession, I want to encourage you to talk to your family doctor. Always go see them. Never take anyone's advice unless you're speaking to your doctor at all times, because your doctor is your main person. If you don't feel like you're getting what you need from your doctor, don't be afraid to speak up. Say something. If you still don't see a change, find a new doctor. Take care of your own health, bring your own health into your own hands. Alberta, for example, has a primary care network that you can sign up for where you put in what you're looking for in a family doctor, schedule wise, maybe specialty wise, experience wise, and they will literally find you one and send you an email being like, this is your new doctor if you want them. You can go meet them, try them out. It's awesome. So take some of that into your own hands. For me, I just got referred to a psychiatrist recently. I also have been seeing a psychologist for some time, and finally, a psychiatrist was able to put me on a proper care plan. For those of you that have taken medication, I am sure I'm not alone in saying that they produce some side effects, some crazy side effects. So for me, that was sleep. Insomnia is something that I'm very used to, but with the meds I was on, it was almost like 10 times worse. It would be 3 or 4 days without sleep, and it almost made what was it was trying to fix worse. And so that is part of the reason why I kind of went back and re-examined, which is good. I think that everyone should be able to take that step back and realize when they need to invest in their own health. Anyways, this is not a med video. This is not about medication. This isn't a debate on medication. But this isn't a movie. This is a movie about anxiety. And it's everywhere right now. And the reason being is because we're being asked to change a lot. We're being asked to break plans. And how do I put this? Death in the family is something that's constant and expected coming to a change. So you grieve. Life has changed. We are allowed to be grieving. Remember that. Keep in your mind that you are allowed to grieve. And that's what's happening right now. You're mourning a old way of life. You're mourning plans. You're mourning, and you're allowed to have those moments. So when you feel anxious, remember that. Take a step back and remember that you're allowed. This is your birthright. One of my favorite teachers always told me that it was my birthright to take up space. Shout out to Nora, if you're watching this, but it's your birthright to take up space. You can breathe and take up space because the earth has blessed you with a physical body that is able to do so. That is your right. So you have a right to feel safe and protected in this earth. And so if you're feeling anxious, you have a right to voice that. And you have a right to feel that way, especially right now. Especially right now. The other part of that is talking about planning when there's unplannable. A lot of people right now want to talk about vacations or business and things like that, and we can't. We can't look to the future because the future's so uncertain. And that is very scary for us because we are a society that has been built to build on the future. Can't build on the future. You've just changed the whole premise of how we operate our lives. Why would I save for a vacation if I'm never could take a vacation again? Things like that. There's so much uncertainty. So you're allowed to grieve because the entire way of life that you've been taught to live almost has to change. The other part of this that I want to talk about is the polarization. There's a lot of I'm right, you're wrong going on right now, which is fine. I think that everyone, I love when people have opinions. I think that it's amazing when people have opinions. I think it's amazing when people are willing to fight for their opinions. I don't think it's great when you start to shove it down people's throats and start telling them that they're idiots for not seeing it the way you see it. So that's the problem right now is we're kind of blending that line between sharing our passion and shaming people. And that really needs to change because shame won't get us anywhere, especially during this time. So when it comes to things like that, it could produce way more anxiety than is needed. My advice there for all you wellness lovers is to really take the time to recognize where that's coming from. The intention of these people, no matter what side you're on, is to ensure that we have a very positive life. People that believe that, I'm not going to say where I stand, but people that are on the side of less restrictions and just personal honest and responsibility are vouching for a system that takes care of the economy and supports those people that need money to feed their families. It all comes back to love. And on the other side of that, the people that want more restrictions want safety and security. So, and there's no one to say which one is more important than the other. It's all a matter of ideals. We just have it, and at the end of the day, the end goal is for people to be happy and healthy. How we get there is different, though, and so I think that that's where Ener-Ki Wellness really pushes the love with perspective. You guys have heard me talk about it before. That's our motto. That's what we live by. Love with perspective, because there's no time where you can say you were perfectly correct and everyone else is wrong. Even scientific facts, people have the right to believe what they want to believe. And that's fine. And that shouldn't affect my personal respect for you as long as you are being respectful. Within reason, of course. I mean, we aren't out here supporting murder and things like that, but if you simply disagree with me on, say, my stance on vaccines, doesn't mean you're a bad person. I know where you're coming from, and I need to recognize that. That's where we need to separate the hate. Your personal opinion has no effect on other people. And that's an ego thing. I know it's hard to hear, but you're not that special. You're one voice. You can add your voice. That's your power. And you can try to make yourself louder so you're heard. But you can't make people listen to you. You just can't. You can command respect or you can demand respect, and if you demand it, you will not be heard. If you command it, you will be. So anytime you go into a situation where you feel like you have an opinion that might be against the grain, I encourage you, speak up, speak loud, but recognize and stand your ground that nobody has to agree with you. and that's okay. And that's where our anxieties are coming from right now, is I think that we are trying to find a place where we all agree, and that's not realistic. Uh, we are different people. We have different ideas on how to get to where we need to be. We have different lives for a reason, because we've all developed a different skill set and things like that. And that is going to affect our perspective. And I love people that are trying to have an opinion right now. Again, segue, I don't like misinformation. Many of you have seen me say before, please get your information elsewhere, not from YouTube videos like this one. And do your research. And that's all I can say, is do that and come up with your opinion. But people that come up with their opinions and have done the research, I love them for it. Even if I disagree with your opinion, I think it's amazing that you're out there telling people what you think, because that's brave, that's vulnerable, and that's what our society needs more of. And people that shut you down for being vulnerable by saying, why would you say this? It's so stupid, you're so incorrect, I'm going to delete you off my Facebook, things like that, start to produce an effect that make people turn inwards. And we're not meant to be inwards, especially during these times. So anxiety will creep in. And so that's something that that's what I think is going on right now. In regards to what we do about it, well, that's a good question. I've been thinking a lot about that. I have asked a couple of my friends as well. In regards to what we do about it, I think the best thing we can do is, sounds cheesy, but lead with love with perspective. Recognize we don't know everything. Check your ego at the door when it comes to your opinion. Recognize your one voice. That's all. Beyond that, you are one piece in this game, my friend. And it's an amazing game, but that doesn't mean you have to control the rest of the pieces. You are just a player. So play, enjoy, and recognize love with perspective, meaning that you can love someone even with a different perspective. And you can love someone more that has a different perspective than you, because you have the ability to change where you're from. And that's kind of what Ener-Ki kind of vouches to do, is we don't want to preach one way of doing things and say to people, if you don't agree with us, please don't come to us. We want to say to you, this is what we think, this is how we're going. If you disagree, please come tell us, so we can love that too, because we love hearing different sides of it. Learning is important. Taking in knowledge is important. And we should normalize changing your opinion after learning more. We should. That is one thing that a lot of people get shut down for, including, people aren't going to like this, including President Trump. And I won't get into politics, but there is I think every politician has had this happen to them, good or bad. And so I want to say that we need to be more willing to look from that other point of view. I know that this video is probably just rambling, but that's because I just kind of wanted to make this fresh, raw, honest, and this is Ener-Ki, guys. This is what Ener-Ki Wellness is all about. Underground, anti-elite, love with perspective. We spread wellness without all the politics, without all the bullshit, without all the professionalism and red tape. That is what Ener-Ki Wellness and my brand is about. And that is my commitment to my clients, is to bring a place that is down to earth, willing to change its mind, and isn't going to say to you, this is the way we think it is, and there's no room for... No, this is the way we think it is currently based off of what we know. If you know more, please let us know. That's Ener-Ki. And I think that's what we shouldn't be embracing in each other, is the ability to change. There's so many dimensions to us humans that I think it'd be irresponsible for us to say that changing your mind is a weak thing. Or you have a fickle mind if you change your mind or change your opinion. I think that's too easy. There's so many dimensions to us that changing your mind, changing your opinion can represent a change in energy, a change in environment, change in state. There's so much happening to us. So I wanted to touch on that. I also wanted to talk about more about what we can do. Reduce your expectations right now. Expectations are something that we have all around us. They're unsaid. We can't play into them. The other thing is we can't play into the idea of what we expect to be given to us. And this goes into the idea that if something is unsaid and you are feeling it, by giving it energy, you are acknowledging it, and it's not even been present. So for example, you have a friend who wants you to come for Christmas dinner, but you don't feel comfortable with COVID. So you tell them and you sense a tone with them like, oh, okay, never mind. You keep thinking, did I make them mad? Because some people do that. Some people will, I obsess, OCD, anxiety, thinking about it. If they aren't going to take the time to tell me that upset them, it's not my responsibility. I can't take that on. And that's where boundaries come in. And anxiety as a way of creeping up on you in that way. So I think that the best thing that we can do in that sense is check our ego. So in this scenario, rather than thinking, oh my God, did I make them mad? Are they upset with me? Their tone changed. Think, I don't have that much power. And if I did, they should let me know. They're an adult. I'm an adult. They're an adult. Not my circus, not my monkey. Something that I've also learned very recently with the work of my psychologist, and something I'm still learning, is what other people say about me ain't my business. It ain't my business. So that means that if someone's going to be mad at me and they're going to go talk about me, or if someone is going to be upset by something I said and let it affect their mood, and I'm not privy to it, and no one takes the time to let me know, I can't take that on. You know what I mean? I can be accountable for the things that I've done wrong, but if I don't know I've done them wrong, or maybe I don't know better, then I can't change who I am. And so that's where it's kind of like, it's not your fault what happened to you, but it is your responsibility to change it. So if someone makes you mad, sitting and saying that made me mad isn't going to help. Going up to them and explaining why it made you mad, or where it came from, or asking questions is where you're going to get those answers. The anxiety that we are all feeling right now, I think, is coming off of not wanting to hurt anybody, but we can't control what other people say or do. And so we just have to be us, lead with love, and if we step on people's toes, apologize along the way, you know? But you can't tell people, move your toes so I don't step on them, and then be mad if they don't. You just have to say, I had no idea I stepped on your toe, I'm so sorry. And if your toe gets stepped on, you have to say that you stepped on my toe. Unless you're not bothered by it. But if you find that you're bothered by it, being silent does no one a service. In fact, it's actually, I think it's more selfish than anything to assume that that person's going to read into the energy you're putting off. Because everyone can feel energy. That's what Ener-Ki tries to preach, is we can feel energy. We can. So as soon as, if I change this conversation, for example, if I start talking like this to you guys, then you probably would start getting annoyed, right? I sound aggressive. So you'd probably start getting anxious. That changed the energy. Just that tone. That's energy. If the energy changes, people can pick up on that. As somebody that deals with energy, you would think that I'd be way more anxious about that kind of stuff. But I have learned to say, Oh, that was an energy change. Was it me or was it them? If it was them, I can't control it. That's their energy. I might question, oh, I just felt a change. Are you okay? And if they say no, take it for their word. Don't press. Nothing is more annoying than being asked why you're mad or why you're annoyed. So everyone can feel energy. We're emotionally intelligent creatures. So recognize that, and recognize that if you're bothered, say something. If you don't say something, let it go. If someone hasn't said something to you, let it go. If they have said something to you, apologize, take the feedback. That's all. That's all. This is my short topic on anxiety. I know this is like a really, really, really weird topic to talk about. Some things that I do for anxiety. When I am in a heightened mood, I take a walk. Science has proven that walking and the cognitive ability of connecting the cross motion of your hands and arms and the motion of breathing and respiratory and diaphragm sets your body into a calming state, which is why people pace. And usually after you're done coming down from that anxious state, you tend to stop moving. So take a walk. It's been super beneficial. Going outside, fresh air, awesome. Movement is amazing. Movement is key. Ener-Ki Wellness is a huge proponent of movement, even stretches, mobility of your shoulder, things like that. Going down on the ground and just holding plank, shifting forward in the shoulders, forward, back, just mobility, stretching out that chest. These things can make a huge difference. And I was talking to someone today, we were talking about the Jim Carrey quote, where he says, it's not that I don't believe in depression, it's just that if you're not eating the right food, not taking care of yourself, I don't think you're giving yourself a fighting chance. And that's exactly what I feel as a nursing student. I believe in depression. I know it's real. I know the brain does that. I also know that as a medical professional and as doctors, we can't get the full picture unless everyone was at the same level. And so that's where we need to make sure that self-care is utmost importance for everyone. Utmost importance. And that's what Ener-Ki Wellness is here to do for people. And that's why I strive to, in this brand, be very open, vulnerable, lead with love, and do these videos like this where I can break it down for you. You can see the owner in his bed with his elephant tapestry just talking to you about what he thinks on anxiety. If you disagree, you have the right to message me. Let's talk about it. I love that. Things like that. Ener-Ki Wellness is here to be the underground, the anti-elite, the down-to-earth wellness company for you. And it's local and it's amazing. And our team is just growing right now, and it's going to be such an amazing 2021. And so we're here for your anxiety. We're here for you. And even when you're not here for your anxiety, we're here. We're waiting. We are ready. So I encourage you in this next month, make a vow to yourself that you will go into 21 your best self. Don't make a 2021 year-end or your New Year's resolution. Don't make one of those. In fact, my resolution last year was not to make a resolution ever again. So I would say to people, make a vow right now that by December 31st, you're going to be killing it. And that doesn't mean you have the best body, you have the most money. It means you are working your hardest to have money, taking care of yourself the best you can, working out the most consistently. Be the best version of you that you can be. It's almost like a race or a marathon. Run that final sprint to January 1st. This is the time that we got to put it into high gear and finish it off strong. And the stronger you finish it off, the easier it will be to start the new year with strong. Okay? So that's what this video is all about, is to talk to you about what are you doing to curb your anxiety? What are you doing to make sure that you have a self-care routine? What are you doing to address those little things in your brain that start to cause anxiety? And what are you going to do in 2021 to make it better? Because we would love for you to be a part of our company. We'd love for you to come see us. As a part of a little secondary announcement, I just wanted to thank you guys for your support of these videos. I've gotten some nice messages. There's a couple comments, some subscribers. I've also been connected to some classrooms that have been able to ask me for direct videos from me because they really like how encouraging these are, and that just makes my heart so full. So I want to thank you for that. I hope that this talk, even these 25 minutes that I've spent with you just ranting about anxiety, has been helpful. So thanks for tuning in. I'm going to jump to some questions while I have the chance, because I always try to take some questions. So one of the questions I got was, Austin, I have been feeling anxiety for the last 2 months since quarantine. It's gotten worse. I noticed that school has also been a reason for me to be anxious. What do you say to people that are struggling to find a reason to get up in the morning? That's a good question. I've had these days. That's why I paused, because like this is so real for me. There's days where I've woken up and I'm like, I'm one of those people that my outlook can sometimes be based off of my situations. So if I'm having stress with finances, or if I'm having stress with school or things like that, then everything else, I look at things through those glasses. And so I, with my modalities, tend to take care of myself with those therapies. But there has been days that I sit in bed and I don't want to get out. And if you guys knew my roommate Angie, she would tell you that she's had to come in here and be like, "You gonna move today?" Because I think it's unrealistic to live life like this. There's gonna be those high highs, low lows, and sometimes those low lows are gonna be very low. But that's just where, especially right now, we don't have that safety net, so our lows are gonna be lower. To anyone that's struggling to get out of bed in the morning, to anyone that's struggling to even finish this video, if you made it this far, thank you. To anyone that's struggling to find themselves in this person that they've become, step by step, baby steps. We often like to look at wellness as a journey of transformation and, oh my God, I'm going to be the best version of me, which is amazing. If that keeps you motivated, awesome. But baby steps. Today I'm going to shower. I'm going to get back in the routine of showering every day because I deserve it. That's one thing that you can do that will change your whole outlook. I'm going to change my clothes. I'm going to wash my hair. I'm going to take 10 minutes to go outside. 2, do something else for someone else. That makes sense. It takes you out of your head. So days where I feel super low, I've been known to like send flowers to someone, because then it's like, oh my God, did they get my flowers? And it's excitement, and spreading that love brings me joy. So when you feel in your head like that, it sounds bad when I say this, but it truly is an ego thing. It's the idea that the world should be concerned for you right now because you're hurting. But there's lots of people hurting. That doesn't mean that you're not important. It just means that we need to address it. And sometimes that means processing your feelings. So I'll touch on that in a second. But sometimes that means getting out of your head and realizing how lack of important you are and doing something for someone else. The third piece of this that I just said I would touch base on, and all of a sudden I forget, is, processing your emotions. So if I said I get Reiki, I heal myself doing color therapy, things like that. These are things that I do to feel my emotions, because when I feel like crap, I know I'm a smart person. I'm not just feeling crap because I'm stupid. So I let myself feel like crap, but I also try to tell my brain that this isn't an emergency. And it's funny, there's been so many studies on the amygdala, on the brain, and how our brain has that flight or fight response from when we were primal kind of cavemen, where it's like is that thing chasing me going to eat me? And our brain doesn't know the difference between is that thing going to chase me and going to eat me versus I don't want to get up in the morning, because we've put ourselves in a panic and our anxiety. The brain shakes in. So just sometimes tapping. Of course, we do EFT at Ener-Ki Wellness. There's plenty of EFT practitioners in Calgary. Energy healing, meditation, something like that is a good way to process those thoughts. A lot of the time during meditation, you'll be told to clear your mind. That's sometimes not possible when you're first starting out. We have a monkey mind that goes. So I try to process everything that I'm thinking about. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about how pissed off I am I didn't make that payment this month. I'm thinking about how pissed off I am. And I let myself feel it. And then I tell my brain, but I'm safe. I'm safe. So that it knows that it's not an emergency. So those are 3 things that I would recommend. I'll take one more question. So the other question is, Ener-Ki Wellness has been open since 2017, but I'm just hearing about it now. A lot of people are. Sorry, marketing wise. What kind of services do you offer, and where is your goals with this business? I think that's what that says. Sorry, there was a typo. These are strangers that could be across the world that have put these questions in, so they could be bots. Well, I know, I'm just answering questions though. Ener-Ki Wellness did start in 2017. It started as me just doing Reiki services home by home. A lot of the time, that's still what it really is. We have some big growth coming our way, however. Ener-Ki Wellness has been able to donate over $5,000 to charities in local Alberta region through our workshops, through things like that. We've partnered with studios in Drumheller in Hannah, Alberta. We like to travel around to small towns and spread that wellness and invest in those communities. And that's kind of where we've been going. We've held 2 30-day master classes that have been able to raise money for charity. And we have also invested in a scholarship at a special needs expressive arts foundational kind of training studio that now is turned to a traveling studio, which is amazing, because it just opens it up for more opportunity. But we also have set up a scholarship called the Daryl Deck Memorial Scholarship in name of my father, that goes to students of that, a group of students that work with that practitioner each year, and there's a plaque and everything. So Ener-Ki Wellness is really about spreading that love. Our motto is love in your heart, live in your body, my brain tonight, because life isn't enough. If you've ever seen somebody that is a paraplegic, that's not what I meant, but if somebody that is quadriplegic, or somebody that is bedbound, they have such a zest for what they can do because they know there's limitations. And so I always say to people, live in your body, live in it. If you want to do weird arms, live in it, because life just isn't enough. If I was alive in a bed but I couldn't move, speak, or talk, I know that would affect my mental state. And there's people that are fighting through that every day, and they are amazing. And they can teach you so much about the love for life. And so we really need to honor our bodies and give them the life that they deserve, no matter what state they're in. And then love in your heart, always leading with love. We always have to lead with love. Recognize when you're leading with ego. Recognize when you're leading with anger. Recognize when you're leading with fear. Recognize when... And at the end of the day, if it all comes back to love, make sure that you can show how it comes back to love. Make sure you're spreading that love. And make sure it's legitimately love. A lot of people are saying I'm doing this out of love, but it's control or a need for control. That's different. Love is acceptance. Love is freedom. love is enduring, love is unconditional. So we need to make sure that we are upholding those standards with these. That's some questions for you, for me. This has wrapped up Ener-Ki Wellness Weekly. I hope you guys have a killer week. I'm sorry this is late. Keep up to date with our news on our Facebook page and Instagram at Ener-Ki Wellness YYC, tagged in the description below. You can also check us out on our YouTube page, which is here, and soon we will be coming out with our live website, which will be awesome. We have great news coming our way from Ener-Ki Wellness soon. Some amazing announcements coming down the pipe, so please stay tuned, and please remember to subscribe and like this video. I'm Austin, and may you all lovers of wellness be safe